In all the news in detail, state governors of the 36 states of the Federation has unanimously agreed to implementation of an interstate lockdown in the country over the next 2 weeks to mitigate the spread of the pandemic coronavirus from the state to state. The governors operating under the aegis of the Nigeria Governors Forum reached the agreement after receiving briefing from the governors of Lagos, Bauchi, Oyo and Ogun State, who shared their experiences and lessons from the fight against COVID-19. A communique issued by the NGF chairman and governor of Ekiti State, Kayode Fayemi, at the end of the COVID-19 teleconference meeting says only essential services would be permitted. Governors also resolved to set up COVID-19 committees at the regional level, headed by the state commissioners of health, in order to strengthen coordinated implementation of necessary public health recommendations across the states. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Ezenwo-Wike has distributed foodstuffs to the people of Okrika local government area. Governor Wike, who was represented by the Deputy Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Ehie Edison, says that the foodstuffs are meant for the less privileged. The governor also advised the distributing committee to focus on the vulnerable in the area, which he mentioned as widows, children, and the poor. Meanwhile, chairman of the Okrika local government area, Philemon Kingoli, assured Governor Wike that the foodstuffs will get to the books and carry of Okrika local government area. He says, in line with the directive of the Rivers State Governor, the distribution of the foodstuffs will not be politicized. Moving on, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Ezenwo-Wike has distributed foodstuffs to the less privileged people of Omoma local government area. Governor Wike, who was represented by the chairman of Rivers State Palliatives Committee, Ambassador Desmond Akawo, says that the palliatives were meant for all less privileged people of the area, irrespective of their political party or association. According to him, the Rivers State Palliatives Committee has been expanded to include journalists and the civil society to address issues of complaints by members of the public. Meanwhile, chairman of the Omoma local government area, Christian Nwowu, thanked Governor Wike for his commitment to the welfare of the less privileged across the state. The National Judicial Council began the use of teleconference in compliance with the presidential directive on social distancing. The Council's 91st meeting, presided over by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Muhammad, was held via visual means after President Buhari's letter to CJN over speedy trial to decongest custodial centers during coronavirus pandemic. However, all members of the National Judicial Council across the country linked up to deliberate on affairs of the judiciary as documents were circulated and reviewed through online medium. This is the first time the judiciary will adopt the visual communication since 2016, when the then Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Mahmood Mohammed, flagged off the implementation of the Nigerian case management system. Moving on, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, has reported a Lebanese man, Waljero, who allegedly put up a Nigerian for sale. Chairman of NIDCOM, Abike Daboru Erua, disclosed this in a tweet on her official handle. Jero had placed a $1,000 price on the Nigerian lady who was identified as Busari Peace Ufuma in a closed Facebook group. While reacting to the development, Abike says a manhunt has started for Jero and he has been reported to the Nigerian mission in Lebanon, urging Nigerians to put the lady in prayers. Federal government of Nigeria says the team of 50 Chinese medical professionals who arrived at Abuja on April 8, 2020 with medical equipment worth about $1.5 million will undergo coronavirus testing as the mandatory 14-day isolation ends Monday. Chinese medical team is made up of doctors, nurses, and laboratory technicians. Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Henare, made this disclosure at the daily briefing of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. According to him, team is expected to begin work today after completion of the 14-day quarantine period. Moving on, Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) has refuted claims of a liquid mixture used as a vaccine for COVID-19. On its official Twitter handle, the NCDC described the claims making the rounds on social media as false. According to the agency, there is presently no approved drug for COVID-19 by health authorities. It therefore called on Nigerians to only purchase and consume drugs at accredited pharmacies or health facilities. And still to come on the news, these are: South Africa deploys 70,000 troops to enforce lockdown. U.S. green cards to be halted for 60 days, Trump says. CBN's 50 billion naira COVID-19 for disbursement begins Thursday. Please do stay tuned.
Miracles are proofs that God is still working wonders in the affairs of men.
Every evil spirit behind any disease in your body, I command it right now. In the name of Jesus, come out of you in Jesus' name.
Join David Ibiumie for a special and impactful ministration on Salvation TV.
2 p.m. West African time every day.
Good to know you're still there. President Cyril Ramaphosa says more than 70,000 extra troops will be deployed in South Africa to help enforce a lockdown intended to stop the spread of coronavirus. This is the biggest army deployment since the end of apartheid in 1994. South Africa has had 3,465 confirmed coronavirus cases, second only to Egypt in Africa, and 58 deaths. The country has some of the most stringent coronavirus lockdown in the world, but security forces have struggled to enforce them. Harvard University says it has decided not to accept nearly $9 million in coronavirus relief aid, a move that was criticized by President Donald Trump. Trump has said he was unhappy that the prestigious U.S. university had received stimulus money. Harvard is rated the world's wealthiest university with an endowment fund valued at $40 billion. But the elite Ivy League college says it faced significant financial challenges because of the pandemic. However, in a statement, the university says it was concerned that the intense focus by politicians and others on Harvard could undermine participation in the relief efforts. Moving on, President Donald Trump said he will hold applications of foreign nationals seeking permanent residence in the U.S. because of the coronavirus crisis. A day after he announced the move in an ambiguous tweet, Trump says the measure will protect American jobs. However, it is not clear how effective it will be, as most visa services have already been suspended because of the outbreak. However, critics say he is trying to distract attention away from his response to the virus. The U.S. has nearly 45,000 deaths. Still on the foreign scene, Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez says Spain will slowly ease its nationwide lockdown in the second half of May, provided authorities stay on top of this virus. Sanchez asked Parliament in Madrid for a third extension to the state of emergency until May 9. However, Spain, which had imposed its lockdown since March 14, with some of tightest restrictions in Europe, has also announced looser restrictions on children, allowing them to leave the house. And out of business news, where Office of the Accountant General of the Federation has stated that in the next few working days, civil servants will be paid their April 2020 salaries. This is because the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee has shared a total of 780.926 billion naira among federal, states, local governments, and relevant agencies in the country as March 2020 Federation account revenue. According to the committee, the 780.926 billion naira comprise statutory revenue, value-added tax, VAT, and exchange gain. Executive Board of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, will meet next week Tuesday, April 28, to decide on Nigeria's request for financial aid. Nigeria submitted a request for $3.4 billion under the IMF's Rapid Financing Instrument. Speaking at the just concluded spring meetings of IMF and World Bank Group, Kristalina Jovina, IMF Managing Director, says the aid request from sub-Saharan African countries will be prioritized during the COVID-19 pandemic. The coronavirus pandemic has disrupted global supply chains with ripple effects in various sectors. The pandemic is said to have wiped out at least 30% of global oil demand, which led to a supply glut and a dip in crude oil prices. And finally, barring any last-minute change in plans, the disbursement of the first tranche of the Central Bank of Nigeria 50 billion naira targeted credit facility would begin on Thursday. The fund, which is being managed by the Nestle Microfinance Bank, has received over 80,000 applications. Managing Director, Nestle Microfinance Bank, Abubakar Kure, confirmed the development, adding that those whose applications were successful will start receiving their fund on Thursday. And that's it on the news this hour. Thanks for watching. I am Kenneth Okezie. Good morning.
Salvation TV, restoring hope, transforming destinies.
Wisdom is not just quoting what God has said.